Hello everyone and welcome to the Peanut Games Media channel. I am not Oliver, I am Matt, but today we're doing something a little bit different for our audio discussion series. Firstly, my name is Matt and I'm with the wonderful, the delightful, the adjective, Oliver Duncan. How are you doing today,
It's me.
Oliver?
I'm good. How are you?
How does it feel being...
today.
How does it feel?
I hate it.
Yeah?
You've taken my job. Matt's hosting today.
I Zuckerberged him. Yes, I'm the host for this week's little episode. And you know what? Today, we're going to do a little bit of a trip down memory lane this week.
We're going back.
Yes, we're going way, way back. You know, we've given you too much news. That's out of there. So today, we are going to be bringing it back in time and talking about our favorite experiences and our own personal recollections with gaming, and reminiscing on the good times that we've had with our favorite games and franchises. Oliver, are you excited?
I'm excited. This is very wholesome today.
Yeah,
We're going
it's,
to shed some tears, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be a few
sad.
hallmark moments. You know,
Might cry.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've got some tissues down there. I'll send them over to you.
I don't know. Thank you. Can you email them to me?
Yeah, I'll email them to you. I'll get a JPEG of a tissue for you right now.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
So what we're gonna do is I've got a bunch of set questions, and we're just gonna be talking about our own experiences, because I actually have no real idea how Oliver got into gaming, and I'm sure it's likewise. So I think this will be great for us, and then also for the viewer to experience us.
Experience us deeper than you've never experienced us before.
That's it. This is gonna get real deep, guys. You ready for this?
No.
And like at the end of the day, I have a quote here from the hit game Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. What is a man but the sum of his memories? We are the stories we live, the tales we tell ourselves. So there you go. There's a quote for you.
It's very deep. What does that quote mean, Matt? What does that have any relation to this?
I have no fucking clue, but in the context of this, I think we can retrofit it for our own personal desires, as are most quotes, you know. So
that's true.
So
you can interpret.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna write this down. Actually.
Rewrite history. Exactly. So how we're going to do this is I've got a set list of questions, and we're going to start with Oliver, and then I'm going to do my own experiences. And the only real rule here, there's no, like, all bets are off. The only rule here is that we have to talk about gaming stories from before 2016. So before the Trump presidency, the before time.
Nothing to do with
nothing
the Trump
to do with
presidency.
that. We're
just this complete coincidence.
Yes.
And during the Bush, what was the 2002,
Obama administration? Yeah, after 2002.
Yeah. Okay, you've made that actually easy to remember.
Yeah.
I don't know why you've put so many rules on this goddamn thing.
It's just one.
Mr.
It's just one.
Man.
Yes, that's it.
One rule.
I'm the content cop. Is the one rule.
So nice.
But look, let's talk about the beginning. So, Oliver, what is the first video game you remember playing, if you can remember it, and what drew you to video games in the first place as a young Australian boy?
A young Australian boy. Well, it wasn't an Australian video game. It was a Japanese video game, which may have
as are most of them.
A lot of Australians. Yeah, most of the games I play are. And I don't actually know what the first game I ever played was, because I was born into a household of 3 boys. I was the youngest of 3 boys who they had a 64 growing up. They're only like 7 years older than me, and 7 and like 4 years.
But they're from a different era, right? They're from the N64
they were both born in the 90s. I was born in 2002. So I was born into a house with a 64. And basically, I have more memories of these games from the 64 than I do of like my life.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I remember,
sick.
Like specific images. I've always remembered. You know, Wario Stadium. There's like pictures of Wario just plastered around the side.
Best
of the course.
level design ever, by the way. Like honestly.
That's true. Yeah, I know. They just gave up.
Yeah.
But like that is generally maybe one of my first memories of existence is Wario's face on the side of this course. I don't remember like my house from that time. I don't really remember what I was doing.
You just remember Wario Stadium.
Pictures of Wario around a stadium. So that's why I've always thought that, yeah, Mario Kart 64 was my favorite game. But I also have I have a ton of memories of Banjo-Kazooie. And this is from like when I was like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like I'd be watching my oldest brother play. He loves Banjo-Kazooie, and so do I, because of sort of these memories.
Iconic game,
but
yeah.
I have so many memories of Banjo as well. So that also could have been my favorite game. First game. And then I also remember Ocarina of Time. I just remember running around Hyrule Field in the Kokiri Forest. I remember none of the story from as a kid. I just remember Lon Lon Ranch and sort of images of that. So that's why I think one of those 3 games are my first ever games. And basically, yeah, I was born with a 64 controller in hand. And that sort of just started my
Instead of a
journey.
pacifier, he had an N64 controller.
Yeah.
And instead of the beautiful views of Dandenong, he had Long Lon Ranch from Ocarina of
Death
Time.
Mountain in the distance.
And Death Mountain in the distance.
Pictures of Wario haunted me for the rest of my life.
What were they thinking with the creation of that track?
I know.
Design.
Like looking back, it's
Control C,
it's
Control V, that shit. Like,
he
what
is a bit of a dictator, that Wario. So it kind of makes sense.
That's true. Yeah, I get that. Look,
what about you?
Man, so many memories. I remember the first game I remember playing, but maybe not the first game I ever had, but the first game I remember playing was a classic PC game called Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And in this game, you like make roller coasters and you make a theme park. It's one of those like top-down isometric games, like The Sims or something. And I used to like make all these theme parks, but the cool thing about Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is that you can actually make incomplete rides and kill your park
Just
guests.
murder people.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was a sadistic child. I would murder these people. But like back in the day,
explains a lot.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's telling. You can see it in my eyes, right? But like we didn't as a child, we didn't have consoles. Like as a young kid, we didn't have any game. All we had was like my dad's Dell laptop.
Laptop, not even like a desktop.
Yeah,
it was,
the peak of like PC gaming.
Handheld gaming.
Yeah, right. Yeah, legit. It was portable.
Laptop gaming.
That's it. And so we played Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. We played a lot of Flash games, like based on different cartoons and stuff.
Because you were talking about what was that game you were talking about with the clock level a few weeks back?
Uncharted 4?
No. The Flash one. The Flash game.
Pop Tropica, yeah, it's Pop Tropica.
Pop Tropica, yeah. Is that was your love for?
Mate, that was the go-to. I know I just forgot about it for a split second, but I used to play that game all the time. I even got like the strategy guide back in the day. I was like,
still got it.
Yeah, legit for this like free Flash game. I purchased a real book.
Wow, you supported it.
Guides. I did,
Good on you.
That's it. And there were other games
Club
too.
Penguin.
Oh yeah, Club Penguin. That was another one. Club Penguin. There were a lot of Nintendo Flash games back in the day. Like there was one called Super Smash Flash, which was like a Super Smash Bros. Flash game, but it had all sorts of other characters. They had like Goku and Gino.
Nintendo Flash game.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure they had something to do with those. Yes.
Nintendo's knocking their door down right now, but I didn't have many consoles when I was a really young kid,
late.
so I was a PC gamer through and through. I remember playing Max Payne for like 2 minutes as a young child, which maybe wasn't the best idea because it's like a very adult game, but like that's something there. But yeah, those are my first memories. And what drew me to video games is that they were a very they were an extension of the shows I was watching at the time. So like you had your like ABC shows and all that stuff, and then they'd have like Flash games based on them, and so that's how I got into gaming. That is me.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. It's interesting to see how you've gone from PC. You're more of a console.
Yeah,
guy now,
I don't play PC at all. I sort of did a downturn, and the reason why that leads into my next question for you, Mr. Duncan.
Hit me.
Yes,
hit me hard. Oh.
That's it. There we go. That was you're gonna have to add a sound effect to exemplify the force of that slap. Yeah, that was it.
I got hit by Master Hand.
True.
Final Destination. Oh.
Oh, what a time.
Zooey mama.
Zooey.
Alright, what's the question?
Question 2.
Hit me.
Tell us about the first moment you received your very first console to play on. What games did you play on it?
Ooh.
Do you remember how it went down? What's the story? Because everyone has their first console story.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, mine was like I was born with the 64. That's my first console.
Yeah.
But the first console, what we were given, like me and my brothers, not me personally, was the GameCube, obviously the successor to the 64. And this would have been, because I was born in 2002, this would have been maybe 2005. I think I was like 3 years old at this point. Okay. Because I'd had the 64.
That's a late stage GameCube buy right there.
Well, yeah. So we didn't purchase it. It was actually. I remember the day. I remember this day pretty clearly. I think I was just in the living room. I may have been playing the 64, and then my cousin and her partner at the time came in, and her partner had the GameCube and he didn't need it anymore because again this is like 2005.
True, yeah. Then, the Wii's on its way. Pretty
much, yeah. And then I remember my brothers were sort of getting excited, and I just looked over and I was like, "What is he holding? Like this little black box?" And we had the black. He had the black one, not the purple one.
Is it a very small briefcase?
Yeah, I was like, "What is that little box?"
Yes.
And then it turned out to be the GameCube. And then that sort of became our console for the next few years until we got a Wii.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just given to us with a bunch of games. Like we got Smash Melee. We didn't have Smash on 64. That was one of the few games we didn't have on the 64. So that was my first time being introduced to Smash.
Mate, what an introduction. Jeez.
I know, yeah. Smash Melee is such a good game. And that became the game, like whenever we'd have family friends or friends over, we'd just boot up Double Dash or Smash Melee. And like, I would always, because there were like 6 of us, and I was always the youngest, I would always just sort of have to watch half the time. But
you got the Player 4 controller, you got like the GIMP aftermarket controller all of the time.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, we only had one first-party GameCube controller, and like my cousin's partner, we had about maybe 6 or 8. We had a lot of GameCube controllers, but they were all third-party. So over the years, over the next like 10 years. They all died like year after year. A new one would die, and now the only one that works now is the original actual Nintendo one. All the third-party ones are dead.
That's it. I remember I when I got my Wii, and we're jumping ahead a bit, but I wanted to play GameCube games on it, and so I went to a place called Game Traders, which is not a thing anymore, but it was like this old retro game. It's like CEX sort of. And the only thing they had was a shitty aftermarket GameCube controller, and it's the only controller I've ever seen that has an M button.
An M button? What does an M button do?
So you know how on the GameCube controller there's like the Z button on the... Yeah, there's only one of them. Yeah. On the other side of it was an M button.
Oh, okay. It was like another sort of bumper.
But it wasn't used for anything. It was like the weirdest thing, and I was like, why?
Yeah. I think I actually have one with 2 bumpers because the GameCube had 2 triggers and 1 bumper. But I think I do recall having one with 2.
That's weird.
And it may have been the same. Well, I'll find it later and we'll see.
Wow.
But yeah, those controllers were whack.
They're not great. That being said, it came with a memory card, and we still use that memory card to this day. So the controller was bad, but the memory card, mate, was well worth the cost of a GameCube controller.
And I never had a Wavebird either. I always wanted a Wavebird.
I ended up getting a Wavebird when I went overseas because there's like a lot more of them overseas. So we're just like, we'll just buy one. And we still use that to this day. I want to say though, I do have a love-hate relationship with the GameCube because as soon as we got, this is our second console ever in our family. We had 64 and then GameCube, and our parents were like, well, you've got this new console, you don't need the old one. So they donated our 64 and like for the next 20 years, we have never let that down. We constantly like, can I call Child Protective Services? Oh my lord.
But we've since gone back. We like through Virtual Console and stuff and played played those games that we played in our childhood.
Do you know how much those things are worth these days? I know.
Man? We almost bought one. We almost went to Cashies and bought one for like $100 and something dollars. Yeah. But we never did. But we've been able to revisit those games since. But basically, we haven't owned a 64 since like 2004 or 5. So that's how long it's been since I've sort of had one myself.
Mate,
But I
deprived.
mean, GameCube though.
That's true.
I would probably prefer over the 64. There was some
It
great
has
games.
more games, like a greater library of better games, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Star Fox Adventures.
Oh, great game.
That's
yeah. Excellent game.
What a great game. Star Fox Assault. What a Star Fox console.
I want to play Star Fox Assault. I've never actually played that one, but
Come round. I've still got my GameCube. Although
Oh.
the GameCube doesn't work anymore. We have to play it on the Wii because it
Oh.
crashes every like 2 hours. So we've still got the Wii. So I play GameCube games on
Mate,
the Wii. But
put
I
to
got to
good
get that
use.
serviced or
That's
something.
all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you, Matt? What was
I remember.
was your
Well, I
earliest
remember
memory?
I became a really big sort of console gamer in the height of the Wii generation. So everyone and their mother had a bloody Wii. You know, everyone was playing Mario Kart Wii. And
we would like to play?
That's a great
as they
commercial. Excellent commercial.
That was.
I was looking the other day for that commercial. You can't find a commercial like that series of commercials in a quality higher than 144p. It's
I
not
know,
ideal.
That's what our TVs were like.
Yeah, it's true. It's back in the day, but yeah, and me and my brother, we desperately wanted a Wii just because everyone had one. It was the Wii and the
Yeah.
DS. We wanted one of each, you know, because we wanted to be
Right,
like
of course,
literally everyone
yeah.
else. And my parents had a very they weren't sold on the video game thing, just because they were like, oh, you know, this could lead to a downward spiral of, you know,
Death,
and look what happened.
destruction.
Yeah, that's
He's
it.
fine.
Yeah, I turned out fine, Mum and Dad. Gee.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I remember my dad. He went away for like a business trip, and like it was like over for like a
Okay.
weekend, and he came back one night with
Yeah.
like a big duffel bag, and he was like,
Ooh.
Matthew, Michael, can you help me like unpack my bag? And we're like, no, like do it yourself. You know, you're like lazy or whatever, because that's what we're a loving family. And and we opened up the bag, and inside of it was a Nintendo Wii console. Like
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
It was
Yeah.
literally it was like that video of the kid opening up an N64 on Christmas Day. It was
Yeah.
like
Nintendo 64!
yeah, pure elation.
Wii!
Pure elation. We were so
Wow.
hyped because
He pissed
everyone
himself.
and our parents had said numerous times like, we're not going to get you a Wii just because it's like
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like we like it was a bit expensive at the time. It was like $150 $200 at the time. And so
wow, yeah.
and so we were like no, we're not getting you a Wii. And so like, okay, I guess we're conditioned to not getting
Never
this.
playing a video game.
Yeah, a life of reading books or something. And when it came, it was just like, finally.
Yay.
I
Look at this.
clipped the mic, but finally, you know.
Maybe they were just holding off. Maybe they deep down they were gonna get you one.
Yeah,
but
they
were just
caved
keeping the
eventually.
surprise.
Yeah.
Good on them. Yeah.
And so I remember sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, but the Wii, like, I remember opening that for the first time. Just how modern it was. Like, I
Right,
don't think
yeah.
a console has come out since.
The
Like,
pure white
it's so,
box, you know.
Yeah, just like you've never seen a white console before. This is before like even Apple sort of were taking off with like
Yeah,
white
right.
phones and like just white devices. Wasn't really everything was like black. Like even the GameCube, the 64.
Yeah.
Like just this sleek white box, and then even the menu, just like these big icons.
Mate, that was
This is the
so
first time you had a
futuristic.
menu on a Nintendo console at
Yeah.
least as well. It was insane. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when Iwata took out the Wii for the first time, it was black. So like they must have changed it halfway through, and it was such a
really?
so
Yeah.
sleek, so just like
I know.
futuristic, and so small as well. Like if you actually think about the
yeah.
size of the Wii, it's only about like 2 DVD cases tall. But
Yeah, you could just
like
slide
width-wise,
it
I
in
mean.
there.
Yeah, and it was like such a great moment. I remember the day after, because we got the Wii late at night, and my parents said like, we'll play it, we'll hook it up tomorrow, we'll play it tomorrow. And so I didn't sleep at all that night because I was so excited to play. And so we ended up, making Mii's for all of my family, and then playing. I think the first game we played on the console was playing like golf on Wii Sports. You know.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, unlocking memories. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Even just like That's one of my favorite things of getting a new console is just setting up.
Right.
We don't really have this anymore, but like setting up your Mii's was exciting. On the 360 as well, you created your little avatar.
Yeah.
This is like something that's sort of that era that you don't really
I
get
think it needs to
anymore.
make a comeback, honestly.
Setting up the console.
Yeah.
It's probably an inconvenience now, but I just enjoy, making your little characters, learning the menus and all this good
Getting
stuff.
to know your little system,
I know,
that's
yeah,
what's
it was
going to be,
lovely.
you're going to be turning it on almost every day for the next 7 or 8 years.
Essentially,
so,
yeah.
But what a moment, and I love that console so hard. I remember, anecdote, I was so happy to have a Wii that the week after we got the Wii, I ended up bringing in my copy of Wii Sports for show and tell at school. I brought in the disc. I was like, look at this. And and everyone's like, Matt, we already have this. I'm like, yeah, but now I have it.
Now Matt has it. Yeah. What did you even talk about?
I was like,
you can play golf.
This is Wii Sports.
Play tennis.
You can play all the sports.
Oh,
and
he's
pretty
British
cool.
now.
Yeah, that was me. There you go.
Hello. It's Tom Holland.
Has Tom Holland joined the podcast? What? Oh.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Is this 2009?
Yeah, 2009.
Like,
so it was a few years after
Yeah.
the launch. I remember I was...
Because it came out in 2006, right?
Yeah, it came out 3 years earlier. And I remember, everyone had it,
Yeah.
Everyone had Mario Kart Wii, everyone had Wii Fit, and a few people had Smash Bros. Brawl. And
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so we got most of those games by the end of the thing, but it was so cool to have that.
I'm trying to think when I actually don't know when I got mine. It wasn't 2006. I think that's too early. It's either 7 or 8. It was a Christmas, so it may have been Christmas 2007 because I remember having it.
I mean, it was in such high demand, everyone bloody wanted a Wii,
But I also remember when Mario Kart came out. That was 2008.
Yeah.
So we must have got it in 2007 then, because I remember him coming. I think I was coming home from school, and I got in the car, and he had the Mario Kart Wii wheel, because he was in high school at that point. He'd gone to EB Games and bought it. And then I was like, "What is that?" I was like, "You can steer the car? That's amazing!
Innovation!"
So, we couldn't wait. I know, it was insane.
Great memories.
Just the amount of plastic stuff as well you just have with the Wii.
I still have my Wii
the
wheels,
Zapper and whatnot. Yeah, and the wheels.
I ended up buying a Zapper from Cashies last year. It's awful.
Oh, wow.
I do not like the Wii Zapper.
Yeah.
It does not work at all. Because you're doing this and stuff. It's like,
yeah, you're the only one using it in 2024.
Right, I wanted to experiment because we didn't have a Zapper and we didn't have a balance board. So I bought both from Cashies a year ago when I was trying to kit out my sort of Wii collection. And the balance board's cool, but the Zapper is awful.
I've still got mine under the cupboard.
Yeah. I think most
it was always
people
under
do,
everyone's sort of TV cabinet.
Yeah.
Underneath it, and
Never
then you'll be like, "Oh, where's the Wii?" You'd see the balance board, and it'd be like, "All right, where's the Wii now? There it is."
Guess we're playing Wii Fit now. Come on.
Go on a hunt.
Go on the hunt. The hunt. My next question, Oliver, and this sort of ties into it, is when did you start becoming more involved in the gaming scene? Because obviously it becomes, you start playing it, but then you get more invested in different things. And so what outlets did you seek out in expanding your gaming knowledge and interests, and sort of what areas did you get into as a young
Matt, that is a great question. Thank you so much for asking.
I've practiced. You've been giving all the intros in the previous episodes, so I was like, I've got to show up this time.
You got to reach my level, which you have. You've exceeded.
Yes,
shooting through the roof.
I get a gold star.
Yeah, but I did play. Obviously, I had a lot of memories of games as a kid, and I played a lot of games as a kid, but our parents had this rule where we could only play video games for 2 hours at a time and only on weekends. So it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I could only play a game for 2 hours, and then we'd have to. Also, because I was one of 3 brothers, and we all had one console.
You got to share.
So
Sharing is caring.
We'd one TV. Yeah, so we had to 2 hours, and then I'd hand it off to my brother, and he'd play some MA game. I had to leave the room or something.
They gave you a blindfold to cover your eyes. We can't get you to play Call of Duty with us.
Yes,
they say the
I
F
did
word,
but don't tell them that.
Mum's the word.
But yeah, basically
you just
this changed
that on the
late.
internet, mate. Sorry to you just exposed all that. So if your mum and dad end up watching
We're on
this,
the
they're
internet.
gonna ground you.
I didn't know this was going online.
No, this is going on. This is going on
I gotta check
MySpace.
NDA. Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, basically this like changed late primary school for me. Like, so sort of we're getting towards like the Wii U era. I got a Wii U in 2014. Ooh. So by the time the Wii U came out, I could play. Just the rule of weekends only still existed because I wanted us to focus on like school.
Yeah.
But I just played like the console all day, essentially. And so this is when I really became like stuck into the gaming. This is also when I got like my first sort of device. Like I got an iPad as well. Got like access to the internet.
Became
by myself,
a dreaded
sort of, for the first
iPad
time.
kid. No.
Pretty much, yeah. I became an iPad kid. Like I was watching like a lot of YouTube, and this was when Mario Kart 8 was coming out. We didn't have a Wii U yet, but we were playing Mario Kart Wii, me and my brothers, to get excited for it. All 2014, we were playing Mario Kart Wii.
The hype.
Like the first few months of that year before 8 came out. And then, like, I was really excited for 8 because my brothers were showing me all this footage and whatnot. And then I discovered a little channel called Game Explain. Ooh. But at the time, they only had like 300,000 subscribers. But during Wii U era, that is impressive. Like, they managed to get 300K.
And they were the go-to, mate.
Pretty much. Like, I think the Wii U only sold a few million by 2014. It was not doing very well at all. But yeah, they had basically gameplay of Mario Kart 8 on their channel, and I would like every single track in a row, and I'd watch that non-stop because I was so excited for this game. I think they got an early copy.
Mate, the hype for
we
that
may have
game,
got our copy late.
Unreal.
But yeah, and essentially that as soon as I discovered Game Explain, like I sort of subscribed, and then that really just got me into the gaming space. And then I realized I'd grown up with Nintendo games, and I realized like, oh, I'm a fan of this. Like this is gonna be my thing. Like I remember just thinking, okay, I'm gonna play Nintendo games, and that's gonna be like my personality.
I'm gonna be a devout Star Fox Zero enjoyer. That's what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
Yep, I still am. Love that game. Never played it.
Best game of all time. Not really.
Yeah, but yeah, essentially, yeah. As soon as I found Game Explain, I was like, this is my jam.
These are your people, you know.
Yeah, and then I started like at this point, I'd played pretty much most of the Mario Karts except for 7 and I think the Game Boy one. And then I tracked those down and played them. And then I was like, what other Nintendo games are there? And then I heard about The Legend of Zelda. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. That's it. I'm sure we'll get into that whole rabbit hole down the track.
But yeah, basically, Game Explain and got me into the scene.
You hear that, Andre?
Thanks, them.
I think that the word they're looking for is "you're welcome," Andre. Jeez.
I'm sure he just said that.
Yeah, he did. He's watching us right
listening.
now. Yeah, it was a very similar story for me, honestly. Like I again, very chronically online child. I really got into the retro scene when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I used to watch this old YouTuber. His name was Nightwing01, and he did a series called Retro Mondays, where he like looked at old retro games and like talked about them and reviewed them, and that's what really got me into the old games and that type of thing. And then obviously get into like the normal boots guys, you know, Peanut Butter Gamer, John all the ones you've bloody heard of, mate. And that's how I watched a lot of IGN game reviews as well at the time.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just because I wanted to know what new games are coming out and what games I would likely not be able to get because, you know, child. So and then like there were other facets as well. I remember back in the day there was like a Nintendo magazine that would like
of course, because they stopped printing those. Yeah,
in the Wii and Wii U era they were like at the top of their game. They would like publish articles, and that's what got me to like actually read things, you know. that and
I'm
Sonic
reading,
comics.
Mom.
Yeah, I'm reading about Super Mario Galaxy 2 and why it's marginally better than Galaxy 1 in this Nintendo magazine. That's what they thought, actually. And then also like it was cool because we in Australia we have a thing called EB Games, which is like the go-to, and back in the day they were like And Canada. Yeah, in Canada, that's true. Never forget my heritage, my brethren.
Never forget Canada.
That's
Lest we
it.
forget.
No, lest we forget. Yes, that's it.
Rest in peace, Canada.
Yeah, they died. I mean,
so
when
sad.
Trudeau came in.
Oh,
Anyway, so yeah, and so back in the day, EB Games, they were primarily games focused. As weird as that is to say now, because these days they have all the pop culture stuff and you know.
You're right. Actually,
all the like merch and all that stuff. But back in the day,
just EB.
yeah,
EB things.
EB things, EB swag, and and back in the day they had a bunch of like different game tournaments that would happen. So where we live, there was this really big EB Games mega store, where like which had like 2 levels, and on the second level there was like a Nintendo area. I think they called it like the Nintendo Experience, and they would do like
you and
Mario
your game
Kart
tournaments.
Yeah, they would do Mario Kart 7 tournaments. They do Smash Bros tournaments, and that's how I really got into that sort of scene. And that's, you know, I started playing competitive Mario Kart 8 through that and that type of thing. And yeah, just like that, those sort of community things, like those extracurricular avenues.
Like school.
Yeah, like exactly.
Mario Kart studies.
Mario Kart school. Mario school. I want to learn about Mario and his voluptuous
Mario
mustache.
teaches typing at school.
Great game. Excellent. 10 out best Mario game. But yeah, that's how I got into the gaming scene. So
And when was that sort of Wii U era you said?
yeah,
Wii U,
well,
3DS
like
era?
early, like 2011 to like 2015, I reckon. That was my real sort of come up, because then I was like,
I'm probably similar.
I was a growing boy, you know. I was, you know, entering primary school. Yeah, going through primary school, and I was a curious man. I wanted to learn about the video games I was playing, and so that was that. But
Thanks for sharing.
yeah, thanks, man. This is turning into a group therapy session. I think we're just going around doing our personal histories, but we're gonna dig a little deeper now, all of it, because this is the crux of it. What is your biggest gaming upset? Was there a game, a console that you never played in your youth that you always wanted to play, but you didn't get the chance, and it's like stuck in the back of your mind, and it's basically your hidden trauma that you've never disclosed before?
Yeah, I'd probably have to say the 3DS, because I wasn't into the gaming scene before the Wii U, so I didn't know really what I was missing out on, like in the Wii or GameCube era. So I just played what was in our house. I didn't really know what else was out there. But yeah, like obviously, like as soon as I sort of discovered Game Explain and was like online a lot more in the community, obviously found out about the 3DS, and then ever since sort of I saw footage of Mario Kart 7. I remember actually going back 2012. I was in the US for a little family holiday, and then there was a GameStop with a 3DS there, just on display. You could play, and it had Mario Kart 7 loaded up on it. And I played it, and then like me and my brothers also played it, and we hated it. We did not like it. We were big like Mario Kart Wii fans, Mario Kart Double Dash fans, and we're like, you can fly now. Like
where's
there's
the
coins.
bikes?
What is this?
0
and where's the
10.
bikes? But we just thought the coins and the flying and the underwater was so stupid. It was like, this is a game about racing. Like, what is all this crap?
You gotta get back to the
Mario
crux
Kart?
of it. You gotta get back to the
But then-
quintessential, you know.
Back to basics.
Yeah.
But basically, when Mario Kart 8 was coming out, we all of a sudden loved the flying.
You were
loved
like,
the swimming,
okay, this
all
is
loved
epic.
the coins. We're like, okay, gamers, this is epic. And what am I saying? I've lost my train of thought. You distracted me, man.
Sorry.
You distracted me.
I was quoting Ben Shapiro memes.
Thank you. But yeah, basically, like as soon as Mario Kart 8 came out, this stuff, I was like, oh, this stuff is really cool. Like, I guess because it's in HD now.
Yeah.
And then so I looked back on Mario Kart 7. I was like, actually, that wasn't
This is epic.
so bad. This is also epic. And then I wanted a 3DS because I was like, oh, I need to play like Mario Kart 7. I need to go back. Smash Wii U was coming out, and like it was compatible with Smash 3DS. And I was like, I really need a 3DS. Because you could use the 3DS as a controller.
Yeah, true.
On your Wii U.
Yeah.
And we only had 2 Wii U controllers. and you couldn't use your Wii remotes, I think, on Smash U. It was weird.
I think you could. It was like a weird thing. I think maybe it was like a Wii U and Wii and nunchuck. I don't know.
Maybe I was out of batteries or something.
Yeah.
But we needed more controllers. And also all our GameCube controllers were dead at this point. So I was like, oh, a 3DS would be perfect. And then I asked for it pretty much every birthday, every Christmas, for the next like 3 years, like as they were sold.
Please, I need to play Pilot Wings Resort.
I want Pilot Wings Resort and Kid Icarus Uprising and Tamagotchi Life or whatever else is on there.
Really, really good game.
There's the top 3. I reckon if you get into 3DS, just get those 3.
No,
that's what you're
no
set.
other games. Yokai Watch.
Yokai Watch. Steam something.
I know the way you're talking about.
Project Steam. It was their new IP that along with Splatoon. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But basically I asked for I was asking for the 2DS because I was like, it's cheaper. You know, I won't put too much pressure on them. It's only like $100-ish Australian. Never got it. Every year after year, no 2DS showed up under the Christmas tree or in my hands.
He went unfulfilled.
I wasn't salty. Again, they were probably just like, you've already got a Wii U or 360 or Wii or GameCube. Why do you need this dumb little thing? You've already got a DS.
Yeah.
But I did go back and finally make up for my childhood trauma.
Right.
I purchased a 2DS XL. So I did get a 2DS. I got a 2DS XL in 2019, and I've gone through the library. I never got Smash 3DS though, so maybe I should go back and
get on that one. Man.
But there's no point now, really. You know,
mate, the 2DS XLs, they are going for such high prices these days. They must be rare or something. They're like worth a lot.
Maybe. Well, and the build quality, or just the design of them, it's so sleek and nice.
Yeah.
It's like a phone.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I love it.
It's delicious.
But
yeah, honestly.
But that's my biggest upset.
It's sort of the same story for me. I think I didn't have any sort of handheld console for the longest time.
Oh, really?
And I remember way back in the early DS era when people were playing like Mario 64 DS and New Super Mario Bros. And Pokemon. I desperately wanted like a DS Lite just because it's like, oh, it's, you know, it's 2 screens and the touch screen and the, you know, but I was unfulfilled again. And I ended up the first handheld console, and same thing with that 3DS. I remember, similar to your GameStop story, they used to have 3DS kiosks in EB Games. And I would play the demo to Super Mario 3D Land over and over and over again every time we went to EB Games. Like, I just like the same level from Mario. I was like longing for it. And again,
because that was insane. Because like you've only at this point you only have like the new Super Mario Bros.
Yeah,
games.
mate, the graphics were
and now
insane.
This one, you can go forwards and backwards, and left and right.
And like the 3D functions, it was like, and like the design of the original 3DS was really lovely.
It is nice, yeah.
It
feels good in your hand because it's so like smooth around the edges.
Yeah.
I
love it. This is what I'm here for. And like, see, but like sort of a similar story to you. I ended up getting a OG 2DS in 2015, I think.
Yeah, because they were still being sold then.
Yeah.
Switch wasn't out yet.
Yeah, just because it's like, I've been deprived long enough, and so I bought it with my own money. And then I realized, oh wait, the original 2DS is absolute dog shit. And so I decided to pool all of my money together for a new 3DS XL, and here we are. You know?
I dodged a bullet then, not getting that 2DS.
Look, it wasn't
so cheap
bad.
though.
It was cheap, but it felt cheap, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
It was like this slab of plastic,
It's just a big slab.
Yeah,
you can't fold it. You could try, but you may never get to play Tamagotchi
You
Life
might have
ever
to
again.
go to Nintendo headquarters to get it. That's a gaming story I have. Back in the day, we played my Wii U so much that the sticks broke. And so...
Oh, wow.
And
yeah.
so
Were you playing Mario Party where you're like doing this?
No, not quite. I have no blisters on my hands, I swear.
Okay, yeah.
But like I think it was Smash 4, and so the sticks just started to drift, and
I think
one of them like sort of broke or something, and so we had to go to Nintendo Australia to get it, and that was back in the day we had to like go to a Nintendo warehouse and ship it to them.
Is that in like is it near Bayswater?
Yeah, I think
I've been there to pick up. pick up things. Is this in like this industrial area? Like there's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
really
yeah. Like it's
around
like
it?
the most
I went there, like,
un-Nintendo
last year.
area of all time, just in the middle of like a
Yeah.
bush, industrial
Just-
bush.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember back in the day, it was like nearing the end of the Wii U era. It was like 2016 or 2015, and they had like Wii Remote Pluses and nunchucks, like in like a basket, and they were just like Wiimote, nunchuck, $10 each. You know, it was like a liquidation thing, and I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
bro, for the amount of money these things are going for online now, like you can buy like $50 minimum for a Wii Remote Plus. I could have made such a killing back in the day if I just unloaded all their stock. Anyway, but yeah,
and you could have just sold it later.
yeah. And then also, like, I have a lot of unfulfillments with gaming. I didn't get into the Microsoft and Sony scene until much later, but I desperately wanted a PS3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
because
was
Uncharted was
my-
there, and no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, sorry, it's in Scoresby is where Nintendo Australia is.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near the city.
It's
like
in
maybe
Dandenong.
30, 40 minutes out.
Yeah,
pretty
come on.
much.
You can
What a
visit
great
Puffing
place to
Billy
have
while you're
Nintendo
there.
headquarters.
Visit Tacoma Bakery, you know. These are all very niche
A little
references.
further out.
Oh,
but
it's
yeah.
on the way. Jeez.
Okay.
Anyway.
No, on the way you stop at Nintendo.
Yeah.
Well, now they don't sell. When I was there, they don't sell stuff. Like they just you have to order them online. I think.
Yeah.
It's
Weird
just,
era.
Yeah, their store's gone.
Sucks. Nintendo sucks.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Hate it. I love
Anyway,
'em.
but yeah. So those are, I'll end this question here just because I feel like if we go any deeper, we might have to call like a therapist because there's a lot of unfulfillment in the
We'll
gaming
make this like a
scene.
two-parter.
Yeah, that's true. That's
It'll
true.
be so long.
Question 5. Are you ready for this? We're gonna be
Number
talking.
5.
We're
Yes.
gonna be talking
How many
about.
questions are there, Matt?
There's 10. There's 10. So we're halfway there.
Oh my god.
We are living
We're
on a
nearly
prayer.
halfway.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
Oh, don't sing or else we're gonna get copyright strikes. But anyway, we're gonna be talking about Zelda, and we're also gonna be talking about Sonic.
Zelda specifically.
But yes,
Okay.
because
Yes.
we obviously both have very strong attachments to key video game franchises. What is your first memory of interacting with these franchises for the first time, and discuss how that evolved rather, and how you've gotten to where you are today as a primo Zelda lover? And I'm just assuming
Wow.
you're going to talk about Zelda because that's like that's your thing.
Close. I was actually going to talk about Tamagotchi Life. So
Oh,
basically,
my bad.
No.
No, I love
will talk about Zelda.
Tomodachi Life. That's a great game. Anyway.
Yeah, I didn't play the Life, but I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I had a Tamagotchi. That could have been one of my first game consoles.
Yeah,
Remember?
there you go.
If that counts. But Zelda, like I said earlier, I was born with images of Hyrule Field in my brain.
That's it. That's it.
They were in there from
Ingrained.
birth.
Yeah.
And then we had Twilight Princess and Phantom Hourglass.
Mate,
they were the
iconic.
3 I had growing up. And I didn't really play Twilight Princess. I mainly watched my brother. He had the big Twilight Princess guide.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was about that thick.
Jeez, the
I should go find
compendium.
it. It's in that cupboard somewhere. But
That's such a cool game.
yeah, I mainly just sat on the beanbag and then watched him play essentially.
Mate.
And whenever he would maybe go off and do something, sometimes I'd just pick up the controller, just run around. I loved exploring like Kakariko Village in Twilight
yeah.
Princess, where you could do like sort of parkour and climb up the gorge a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was really my only Zelda experience. And like I said, when I was getting into Nintendo in like 2014, when I was like, I want to play more Nintendo games. I want this to be my thing. I picked up the box art for Smash Wii U, and I was like, all right, what other characters? I've played all the 3D Marios. I played the Mario Karts. What else should I try?
You got a marker
then,
and you crossed off every character, and then it got to Link,
pretty much.
and you're like,
No,
yes.
well, it went Mario, and the roster went Mario, and then obviously Link, and then I was like, oh, I know Link. Like, I grew up with Ocarina. I played Twilight Princess. My brothers say they're some of the best games ever. And this was on the Wii U, so I was like, okay, I'll download Ocarina of Time. I love that game from my childhood.
Yeah.
So good. And like I've heard about this game my whole life. It's like one of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah.
I downloaded it, I played it, and I hated it.
Yeah,
I did
it's-
not like Ocarina at all. And I was so sad. But this was on the Virtual Console. Because playing a 64 game without a 64 controller is a hassle.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
can
absolutely.
change your keybinds.
And I'm sure you were playing on like the gamepad or something, you know, which maybe
I was playing
isn't-
on a pro controller
Oh,
and then
okay.
on the TV. But
Yeah.
because the 64 controller has the C-pad,
Mm-hmm.
and no other controller has it. I just can't play 64 games without it.
Yeah.
And so usually they replace the C-pad with the right stick. So you got to push in the direction
Weird.
of the C-pad.
Weird.
And
Yeah.
it annoys me. I just can't do it. And so I hated that experience. I was like, okay,
Zelda
maybe this
sucks.
game was good at the time, but I think it's aged horribly. It's probably overrated. And then Twilight Princess HD came out in 2016. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I also played that one. And then
let's give it a go.
bloody loved Twilight Princess HD. First time I ever finished Twilight Princess. Probably my favorite Zelda game of all time.
Yeah.
It's that, but Breath of the Wild and Ocarina, sort of, I juggle them.
Mm-hmm.
But then basically after Twilight Princess, I just went on like a Zelda spree.
Yeah.
Especially because Breath of the Wild was coming out. I was keeping up to date with that because everything I heard about that game,
Yeah.
it sounded like the greatest game ever made.
Ever. And it got delayed like 3 times, so you had, you had a long
yeah.
wait.
I was tracking it from 2014 onwards.
Yeah.
Even though I'd only played really Ocarina at this point, I was still
It just
really
looked
excited
so
for
cool, you know.
it. It
like the
did.
trailers.
But yeah, like Breath of the Wild was coming out. Hyrule Warriors, that's one of my first ever Zelda games, unfortunately.
Hey
but,
man, what
like,
an
I finished.
introduction. You know.
But yeah, it's like a culmination of the whole franchise. I love Hyrule Warriors, unironically. It's nothing,
Yeah.
it's really, gameplay-wise, it's not like a Zelda game at all. But
like
it's just
the,
cool.
The heritage,
Yeah.
you know, of the
It's
franchise.
like the Avengers Endgame of Zelda. Like
Yeah,
everyone's
right?
here. It's like Smash Ultimate.
Absolute cinema.
Big battles in various Hyrule locations. So that was a good sort of overview of the franchise, of the different things I could experience.
Wind Waker HD was also on Wii U as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember Wind Waker HD was in every single store in the Wii U section.
Yeah.
You would always see Wind Waker HD
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I think so many people were buying it. And then I was like, oh, it's cartoony Zelda. That's for children. I want to play
I'm a big
the
adult
Twilight
man.
Princess
Yes.
HD. So I never got it until like 10 years later or 5 years later. Around 2019 or 2020. I finally played Wind Waker. But yeah, like Breath of the Wild came out. My
was that?
favorite video game memories of all time are in that game. Like the first, I remember 2016. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent here.
Yeah,
But
that's all right.
like 2016, Game Explain, going back to Game Explain, they posted basically like a 4-hour or 6-hour video of
Yeah.
all the footage they got from E3 that year,
That's
which was the
awesome.
big Breath of the Wild blowout, and they pretty much did a huge analysis. It was like 4 hours long.
Nice.
And I remember going on a trip that year, and I was like, the plane trip, I was just watching that 4-hour analysis of Breath of the Wild.
You're like, I
generally-
need to know, you know.
yeah. Within like a few weeks, I knew the Great Plateau like the back of my hand. Like I
love
knew
that.
every like corner of it. So by the time Breath of the Wild comes out, I've got a Switch in my hand. I've got the game. I was like, oh my god, I'm
This is
finally
the
playing
moment.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And then the next like 6 hours were just the greatest time of my life.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, since then I've gone through, I've played, yeah, like I said, Wind Waker. I returned to Ocarina of Time on the remake.
That's a great game too. The remake is excellent.
Yeah, I fell in love with it again after we sort of had a breakup earlier. I realized, no, Ocarina is
on again,
awesome.
off again lover, you know.
Yeah, Ocarina, like, generally is probably the most influential game that will ever exist.
Yeah,
We
right.
could talk about that for ages.
So good.
But yeah, so basically, yeah, Zelda, it started with my youth, my youth with the 64, and then Hyrule Warriors, essentially. And yeah, I played all the 3D games.
Yeah.
The last one I had to play was Skyward Sword, which had the remake a
Yeah.
few years ago. So I finally played that.
I remember I used
now I
to
just gotta
rent
get through all the
Skyward
2D
Sword a
ones.
lot, you know, at the video
Yeah.
store. It would
I was
always
tempted
be
to borrow it from a library because my local library had Wii U games, so I was there all the time.
awesome.
Like, ooh,
I
what
wish.
do I have today? Yeah. But yeah, so that's how I'm into Zelda now.
Are you
bit
gonna
of a
get the
ride.
This is completely modern. Are you gonna get the new Lego set, the Zelda Lego set?
Yeah, it's like 500. My brother has it.
Oh yeah.
But he's built the Ocarina version, so I might get it to build because you can have two versions.
Yeah, yeah.
I might get the Breath of the Wild get it to build the Breath of the Wild
I
one.
saw it in the
But
Lego
I want
store
the
other day,
Ocarina
which
one.
great. Yeah, just get both.
Yeah.
Buy two. Buy
Two. Spend $1,000. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's worth it, you know. But yeah, I think it's only about time to talk about Sonic now because
Sonic, yeah.
that is my
In every episode.
Yeah, true. We aren't talking about Epic Mickey this episode, so we might as well talk about Sonic yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, keep going.
Oh no! Oh no!
Foreshadowing.
Yes. So I was always sort of like intrigued by the concept of Sonic. You know, it's like
the idea of him.
Yeah, the idea. This blue rat.
He was very attractive.
Yeah, he was a very sexy man. I saw him from across the way, and suddenly I'm glad he came. That's an Ed Sheeran lyric. Anyway.
Okay.
My first Sonic game was Sonic Colors on the Wii, and that was like the first good Sonic game in like a long time. And so mixed with Sonic Colors and Sonic and All Stars Racing, like the racing game they did.
Yeah.
It all just went downhill from there. I
went downhill.
Yeah, I went.
Sonic, he runs up hills though.
That's true. Well. He runs through loop-de-loops and he goes through dash panels and all that. Sorry. Yeah, I'll just leave. I ended up going down a deep rabbit hole of like Sonic interest. Like I would watch amazing creators like Some Call Me Johnny and Kobana Money 456 who would do like Sonic reviews and Sonic like Let's Plays, and I would literally in the span of like 2 years I would like go nuts on the Sonic.
Sonic nuts.
Sonic nuts, exactly. Beautiful image. And then
blue hedgehog balls.
That's it. You gonna leave this in? I hope you do. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Nice. And then I remember there was this game that was getting a ton of attention called Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And it was like a GameCube game. A remaster of like Sonic Adventure 2. And so I pestered my poor parents for that GameCube game for literally like a year, I think. I wanted that one game. And they were bless them. They didn't want to buy it for me because it had the word battle in the title. And they were like, "Oh, is this a violent video game? Zero, you're not buying this. You're not getting this.
You can't play this. Get him Grand Theft Auto instead." Oh, good idea.
So what I did, yeah, exactly. And so what I did in order to convince them that it wasn't a violent game is I made them sit through 2 or 3 reviews, YouTube reviews.
Oh, they're gonna say
game.
2 or 3 hours.
No. Like the IGN review of the game, and again K-Wing's review of the game. I made them sit through it, and I was like, it was like that Wii U commercial. These are the reasons why I need to buy Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Don't remind me. Yeah.
And so yeah, jumping off of that for a second. I got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and I've never been the same. So that's been my Sonic history, and I love the series. I still love the series. I bought the comics. I've watched all the shows. I've watched the movies, and I can't ever tell anyone that I'm a Sonic fan in real life because I think my credibility would be over. So it's good that I.
What
can
about all
voice
the
it
Sonic merch you constantly wear?
Shouldn't
that give it away?
Yeah, I've got a full Sonic costume right here.
just a full
Watch this. I get like
Sonic fursuit.
Yeah, true. Imagine.
Every time I feel like you just make up new Sonic games every time I speak to you. Like I've never heard of this game, but what is it? Sonic Battle.
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Yeah, like that's
great game.
You could literally be making this up, and I would not know.
I swear to God, it's one of the better ones. It's probably like it's the second 3D Sonic game that was ever released. So like it was competing with Mario Sunshine at the time. So
yeah. Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was awesome. It's an amazing game. It's like a fabulous game. But But yeah.
You still got your copy?
I do. Well, not anymore. My brother took it, but
Damn brothers.
You can bleep this out. I ripped the game and put it on my Wii U.
Yes. Go Ash.
Yeah. Piracy. The system. Anyway.
Woo. Yeah.
But that's That's the downward spiral with Sonic. Oliver, what are some
Unlike
of your...
the upward spiral with Zelda.
Yeah, true. As the Zelda games got better with the
Sonic games,
Breath of the Wild and that type of thing.
Better.
No, they got worse. They got a lot worse. There was Sonic Lost World and Sonic Boom and then Sonic Forces. So
I love Sonic Boom. Such a great show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the show's good, but
that was always next to Wind Waker in the game stores. You'd have Wind Waker and then Sonic Boom. Maybe
Yeah.
no one was buying either.
Yeah, well, Sonic Boom is the lowest selling game in the franchise. It sold less than like 200,000 copies or something. It was like really bad.
Rare.
Well,
Rare
yeah,
game.
yeah, I guess so. It is now. It's not a very good game, but anyway.
Local Costco had a bunch. Should have been on that.
I could have bought it in
back
bulk.
then.
I could have sold them off, you know.
Could have, yeah.
Oliver,
Damn it.
what are some of your favorite memories interacting with the gaming community as a young adolescent? You know, so what, like any events you went to, any thing that sticks out in particular? I can start if you want, if this is a bit...
Yeah, you start. I actually don't have an answer for this yet. Yeah, go ahead.
My main thing was like tuning into like the Nintendo Directs from back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, like the 2012 to 20, like before Mr. Iwata passed away, those directs were fabulous, you know, because you could tell,
shit.
yeah, legit, you could tell that they were putting in literally every single like thing they could to try and sell their poor console. You know, it was like, you know,
pouring their heart and soul.
yeah, like one that I remember in particular was like the Smash Bros 260 facts or whatever. Or whatever
That's
it was.
right, yeah.
Yeah, they had like different facts about the game, and it was literally like they spoiled everything about the game, like just so that you would buy it.
Nothing
you know?
left to the player.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
that.
I didn't actually start watching directs until 2015, I think.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I went back and rewatched all the 2014, 2013 ones, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I missed. I wasn't around.
Some of the early ones are really rough because it's like
Yeah.
it's 2012 and we don't know how to operate YouTube. But there's
Essentially.
like that iconic image of Iwata holding the bananas, like in front of the thing. That's an amazing memory from Nintendo Directs.
Okay.
Another memory I had interacting with the gaming community was like, as I said, the EB Games demo stands. I remember when like the Wii U came out, they'd have like a Wii U, like booth there, and like now that I'm remembering it, a couple of months before the Wii U launched, I think it was like August of 2012, whatever year it came out, they were doing like a Wii U preview event at Eastland Shopping Center, and so I forced...
Shout out Eastland.
Shout out
Ringwood.
Eastland. Yeah, come
Woo.
on, go off, lad.
Woo.
Big man. What was it? No, it was near Cheltenham. No, it wouldn't have been Eastland.
Did you just say big man? Did you just mention big man? Speaking of,
How
big
sexy.
man from Splatoon 3. Sorry, keep going. I just had to do that because you said his name. You
Shout out.
said his name 3 times.
Shout
He
out,
shows
big
up.
man. It wasn't Eastland.
Sorry.
Sorry, it was the one near Cheltenham.
Oh no!
What's that one? No, not Northland. Southland.
It wasn't Southland, or
Southland.
was it?
It was Southland.
Chadstone?
It was proper
old
far
chatty.
away. It was proper far away.
Okay.
It was like an hour drive.
Proper.
And
It's not that far. Yeah, sure.
well, as a child, it was far.
As a child, it was forever. Yeah.
And to ask your mum to drive you to Southland, it's
My mum.
Yeah, your mum.
Our mums didn't know each other.
Yeah, I
Oh,
called
okay.
her up and I was like, "Hey, my mum won't let me play the Wii U. Can you
Oh,
go?"
it's Tom Holland. Hello.
Yes, he's back.
I need a lift.
He's back.
Oh, see you later.
He's
Bye,
gone.
guys. Have a good day.
That's
there
it.
he goes. Oh, I tripped.
This is a very high
Oh,
quality. This is a very high
He
quality.
tripped and
episode.
fell. Oh,
Oh,
no,
God.
Tom.
He's
He's
gone, he's
dead.
back. He's
Tom
out of
Holland
here.
is dead. He hit his head.
Anyway, so yeah.
Who's going to play Spider-Man?
Andrew Garfield.
now?
He's back.
Oh, okay, good. Who's going to play Link in the... Sorry, keep going.
Fox McCloud. Anyway,
Oh.
I forgot what I was talking about. I was just saying I got to play.
You went to Southland.
Yeah, I got to play Wii U early. That's all I wanted to say. That was the end of
Yes.
it. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wait,
moment.
was it an event?
Yeah,
for
it was
the Wii
like
U?
it was like a booth, and they had like 15,
yeah.
20 like Wii U consoles, and they had
Damn.
Nintendo Land, and it was like the Japanese copy of Nintendo Land, so everything was in Japanese.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Really just imported. Yeah, because I don't know if Nintendo Australia existed then.
Yeah, might have been before that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
they only recently started having
They've
their
only
own,
recently
social
come
media
down
accounts.
under. You know.
Down under. Yeah.
Shout out the Nintendo Australia media manager, who's probably just like an Aussie bogan.
It's me.
It's you. Oh,
Hello.
cool. Hello.
It's me, Mr. Nintendo.
That checks out. Oliver, what
Yeah.
are some of your favorite memories interacting with the gaming community?
I'm trying to think because I wasn't really in the gaming scene until, like I said, 2014. But at that point, like I love playing video games, so I never really went outside.
Oh
so
yeah.
most
Well,
of my
what about
memories.
buying your video games? Going to EB Games.
Yeah. But so I've got a few. Like I remember the directs, like you said. That was all like it's when I've discovered them, I didn't realize they were a thing until like 2015. I pretty much watched all of them live. What I do love, what I miss the most, especially, this is something that maybe not won't exist anymore. But those like little playground discussions you'd have. This is probably more in high school. Just sort of those like lunchtime like just discussions about like video games and like various things.
That's awesome.
Like I'm not huge into this game, but like when Fortnite first came out, it was originally just this like little hush around the little classroom. And then I remember some guy behind me was like, "Oh, Ollie, have you played Fortnite? Get on Fortnite. We're gonna play Fortnite tonight." I was like, "What?" Like this is the first time I've ever heard about Fortnite. I was like, "What is that?" And then like skip to like after the sort of summer break, everyone comes back to school and like the whole world's been playing Fortnite. We're all like discussing. I just miss like just discussing with people just in public like about the various video games we've been playing. That's like my favorite memories of like a little gaming community, I'd say.
I remember when Last of Us Part 1 came out, like way back in 2013, everyone was bloody talking about that game. Same with GTA 5, same with like Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, I guess. But yeah, what a time,
I love that. But again, the directs as well. This also ties into like back in school. I remember I would always be watching the directs on my phone. But I remember one time we were going on a little excursion to Luna Park in Melbourne. And we were on the bus. And this is like the only direct that was scheduled during the day for Australia. They're usually like during the night. This one was at like 10 a.m. or something. So I was on the bus and it was the big Splatoon 2 sort of blowout. Oh, it was getting a bunch of DLC.
Yeah.
And whatnot. It was one of the best directs ever. This is 2018. This is at the start of the year. And then the direct ended with this sort of remake of the Splatoon 1 intro with a bunch of England shooting in like HD.
I do remember that.
And then I clocked on straight away because I know what franchise usually has super high def graphics with characters playing, and there were rumors of this game coming out for months before. So I was like, "This is Smash." I'm telling. And my guy next to me was like, "Really? Like Smash Bros?" Because he's like the guy I was sitting next to. He only would play like Mario Kart. Oh, sorry, Mario Kart, Zelda, not Zelda, but like Smash. Your typical, just video game fan. And so he was like he was excited for Smash. And then I was like, this is Smash. And then sure enough, like the end of that trailer, Inkling turns around, see the logo, and I was like, I was right. I was right. And then we went on roller coasters or whatnot at Luna Park. Nuts. But that was a great memory. Like just watching directs with people. Yeah. And we've done that, I think, once or twice. It's so much fun. They're probably my most excited
on
moments.
That.
Yeah, even watching the New York's Nintendo New York reactions.
Yeah, right. Those are so good.
I remember being in New York a week before a direct happened, and I was so annoyed because I was like, "Damn it! If I was there the week after, I could have been in that room,
part of history,
like, just pumping my fist." Like,
do you remember what direct that was?
It would have been 2018. One late in the year. So
imagine if it was like the Smash Ultimate Everyone Was Here one. That would have been like, if you were in Nintendo New York for that one, that would have been crazy.
Oh, that would have been crazy. I'm trying to think what was showing. Whatever games were coming out in 2019, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe Mario Maker.
I mean, on the direct, how can we forget like E3? Oh,
of course. Yeah, like just E3 season in general. Even though we've never been. Yeah. Like I miss it so much. Just that. That
all the different
era.
press
it's like
conferences.
Christmas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like Christmas for us nerds.
No, it's great. I would not have it any other way. Like, they've got to bring it back. Jeff Keighley, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We have a lot of Jeff Keighley hate on this channel, but just got to bring it back.
He's annoying.
Yeah, he's a little bit annoying.
I'll leave it at that. But I also wanted to mention like picking up the Switch for the first time. This isn't really interacting with the community as sort, but like this is just a good memory. Because like I saved it. I was delivering junk mail at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I barely saved up enough money, I think, to buy a Switch. And just to play Zelda, really. I could have bought Zelda on the Wii U, but I wanted to play Breath of the Wild on the best console possible. So I
Yeah.
saved up, and I knew I was going to own a Switch for later on for other games. So I saved up every last penny. We went to our local JB Hi-Fi. I wanted to get the neon colored Joy-Cons, but they had none in stock, and I really wanted the Switch. So I was like, all right, I've just got it here. I've got the gray. I'll get the boring gray Switch from the reveal
settle.
trailer.
You just wanted to play Zelda so bad.
Good memory. Yeah, I know. I remember on the trip home, I was like holding the Switch. I was with my dad and my brother, and I was like, I opened it. I was looking at the Joy-Cons, like, whoa, this is cool as. And I just wanted to get this baby home as safely as possible. But yeah, those are my favorite memories.
Speaking of babies, you know.
Yes.
What is
pregnant?
one or two? What's a list of games from your past that are severely underrated, underappreciated, and just need to be talked about more? So what are some games that you played as a kid that have been so unbelievably slept on that you need to mention them here? And I think
Can
I
I
already
mention
know what's
Epic
coming.
Mickey?
Yeah, I thought I knew you were gonna bring it up. No, okay.
Well, look, honestly, though, Epic Mickey, I think it's gotten a lot of the recognition it deserves now. It's got a remake. Pretty much every game news outlet has covered it. Like, it's now like in the zeitgeist. But I'd say back in the day, one of probably the best 3D platformers on the Wii. And I think not only that, but like for people who aren't into video games or more into sort of like the Disney fandom or into like theme parks, this is a really good game for sort of those fans.
And it's more sort of adult driven as well.
Yeah, like, I don't know, so like really good level design, like it's good, really great themes, like it takes the different areas from Disneyland and it chucks a spin on them, like it's really dark as well. I don't know, I've already talked about this game a lot. But it's like, so you go to like the Pirates of the Caribbean sort of area, and all the animatronics are like evil and they're trying to attack you, and you go to like It's a Small World and it's all flooded and yucky looking. And it's got like a great soundtrack, and yeah, it's got a great. It reminds me of Banjo-Kazooie a little bit.
It's a return to form for those 3D platformers, definitely.
Yeah, like Banjo-Kazooie and like Mario 64. Like Mario 64 in the way you jump through paintings to get to each sort of area, and then Banjo-Kazooie, like each sort of area has a really unique theme, and like it's executed so well. And the ending's very similar to Banjo, where you're climbing like this castle, and you've got to like fight the boss on at the very top of. Also, like you start the game in this castle and you end it there as well.
The Womp's Fortress from Mario 64.
Exactly. No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just like Womp's Fortress.
That's it.
But other than Epic Mickey, I also want to say like Splatoon, like not in the East, like not in Japan. I think Splatoon in the West, in Western media, is severely underrated so much, especially since this is their third biggest franchise, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
This is how big it is in in Japan.
Yeah, it's pretty massive.
Like it goes Mario, Zelda, and then Splatoon. Like that's how large it's become.
I remember when Splatoon 1 came out, that was like the hot new release. Everyone loved it.
But even then, like that game was like, you go back to it, it's so simple and like childish in a way. And like Splatoon is childish. I won't say it's like for adults now, but like it's grown so much.
It's a hardcore third-person shooter.
Like, yeah, by the time I ended Splatoon 3, it was like, holy crap, how did we get here? Like the first game was just a fun little new Nintendo IP. Like the first online multiplayer, like fully online multiplayer focused game. But then like Splatoon 2, it added like, they had championships, added a bunch of like competitiveness to it. Like one of the best Nintendo DLCs I think they've ever released. Yeah. And then Splatoon 3, like it sort of capped off the trilogy. And now like, it's just awesome. But yeah, I think it's hugely slept on by a lot of people in the West, especially since I think it mirrors like the original sort of Halo trilogy. Yeah. This is like the Halo trilogy, but for the Japanese, essentially. That's what I sort of compare it to.
Honestly, that's fair.
But yeah, like the way the first game was really simple, and then it's sort of a story that goes across 3 games. And also the fact that this is Nintendo's first like live service game that they're updating sort of month to month, and
it's been so effective.
They nailed it. They nailed it in 2015. Most Western companies or like AAA companies, they struggle to like keep these games running these days. They always have to chuck in microtransactions, And Nintendo, they're a company that are famously behind on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
They're first out in this area. They just absolutely knocked it out of the
They know
park.
how to-
And then
they,
each Splatoon game, they like there's updates like monthly. The Splatfests that occur. The sense of community that these games have is so good.
Yeah.
I think slept on by a lot of Western media.
What a moment. I remember when Splatoon 1 came out, and I remember in the direct, they were like, if you pre-order the game, or if you like input this code, you get the NES Zapper for free. You know, I was like,
I remember that. Yeah.
I was like,
The NZAP. They had the NZAP 85 and the NZAP 87. I can't remember. There were two guns in the game.
The red,
they were good
the red
guns.
Zapper and the black Zapper.
I rated them.
Yeah. Damn. I remember that was, and I remember that leak. Remember there was a leak. It was a fake leak, but they wanted Mario with Flood in Splatoon.
I remember the Game Experiment covering that constantly.
They were like, could Flood be
You don't really
Splatoon?
get that anymore. Everyone sort of, because everyone knows Photoshop these days, everyone's like, it must be like just some guy with Photoshop. But back then it was like, is this real?
Time.
Is this actually? And it's like they would always take the photo on the side of a monitor.
And like with some like motion blur. Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
But then at the same time, remember when the Smash for 3DS character roster got leaked? So some guy
No, I don't think so.
Some guy took a photo of like the Smash Bros for 3DS character roster,
and
everyone thought it was fake, but it ended up being real.
Oh, really?
So everyone got spoiled.
Maybe that changed it, and then everyone like switched. And, they trusted everything.
There were so many different. We could do a whole episode on like fake leaks, like Rayman in Smash Bros. That was a big one. But But
like speaking of the Mario Sunshine in Splatoon, they did actually have a Mario Sunshine reference in 3. One of the boss fights mirrors the. What's that boss fight in Sunshine where in front of the mansion you're fighting like the stingrays?
With
like,
the shadows.
You have to, jump on them. Yeah. That's what they essentially just copied that for Big Man. Speaking of Big Man, like when you fight him in Splatoon 3, because he's a giant stingray. If you want some visual reference,
that's it. We'll get a diagram going.
The big stingray boy.
Yeah.
Basically, his boss fight is just a mirror of the boss fight from Mario Sunshine, which is really cool. So it came full circle, really.
That's it. Oh, what a game. Both Splatoon and Mario Sunshine.
I think there's definitely a lot more games I just can't think of right now that are underappreciated. But we'll do part 2. Yeah. What do you think is
See, mine are sort of more third-party games as opposed to like Splatoon. One that I remember playing all the bloody time as a kid, there was a little Wii game and it was called Go Vacation. And it was basically Bandai Namco, the people behind Smash Bros for Wii U and 3DS. They did like a Wii party sort of sports game, a la Wii Sports, or all those like really awful Wii shovelware games. Except this one was like really, really good. They had like a whole island in like the shape of like a Pac-Man head. Because obviously it's Namco.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And
it's like
so
Woohoo Island.
Yeah, literally. And so you could explore it on like horses and cars and skateboards, and there was like different events you could play, and it was just so much fun. They re-released it for the Switch. It was like a Wii game, and so they've re-released it.
I was gonna say, I think that's the first time I heard about it. I thought it was a Switch exclusive.
No, it was originally on the Wii.
It was on the Wii.
And it's so creative, and there's like 50 different sports, and you'd think it would be like an awful shovelware game, but they actually took the time and made it
rip-off of
really,
of Wii Sports.
They made it into something that I think is on par, if not better, than Wii Sports.
And it uses Mii's and whatnot.
Yeah, it was lovely, and like there was a whole like house creator. It was really cool.
It's like the Banjo-Kazooie to Mario 64.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It expands upon the original, you know.
Plus, you can surf in the game. You can surf. So
you couldn't do that in Resort.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. You can live out your Bondi Beach fantasies.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. Bodacious. Another game I sort of wanted to bring up, and this one gets really slept on. There's a little Wii U game out called Lego City Undercover. And so this was...
not anymore.
Oh, sure it is. It is multi-plat now. All of these games have been released on different platforms these days. But that's because they're so slept on and no one bloody talks about them. I remember when Lego City Undercover was announced for the Wii U, everyone was like, this is going to be the system seller because it's like GTA, but it's for children.
But it's for kids,
It's for little boys and girls, you know. But
imagine thinking, a Lego game will sell a console.
No, well, they thought it was.
Yeah.
It was like
But,
dropping
yeah.
in March 2013 or whatever. It was like in the launch window of the Wii U. But it's such a good game. It's basically it's probably the best like Wii U game in my opinion, just because of how expansive it is, and there's Nintendo references all over the place.
That stuff's cool, yeah.
It's too good, man. I like, yeah.
What about Mario Kart 8? Smash 4? You think it's
That's
better
true.
than those?
That's true. That's true.
3D World?
I can't.
Woolly World?
Great game.
Splatoon?
Drink.
Still think it's better?
Kirby and the Canvas Curse. You remember that one?
Yeah. No, that wasn't. I would say that was probably better than. Not as good. Also, not as good.
Okay. Anyway.
Do you stand by that statement, Matt? That's a bold statement.
100%. I love Legacy Undercover. I would not have it any other way.
Here it is.
Oh, there it is.
The game
That's the
Matt
game.
is talking about. It's not on Wii U, but it is the Switch version.
It got re-released in 2017, but man, such a good game. Like, you go to, like, the ending. You're flying down from a space station to the Earth. That is so cool. I like it. Anyway.
Really? I don't remember that.
Have
I
you
played
it?
but I
you
can't
played
remember.
it? Oh, you gotta play it again.
I played it when it re-released in 2017. I missed it the first time around.
Great.
And I got it on Switch, mainly because the Switch version, like you said, it had the Nintendo references, and you had to download a little update for this version.
Yeah.
The game didn't launch with them. You had to little update your game, but then you got the bullet bills and the question blocks and whatnot.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, it was such a good time. And like,
I recently bought it on Steam as well, so I might play it again because it's on everything now, and I think it may be getting the love it deserves. I think especially that re-release helped,
it's
but at the time, no,
severely underrated in my opinion.
Yeah.
And also like, the Switch version has like 2-player support. The original Wii didn't. It was only 1 player.
Oh yeah. I did play this with a mate, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was GTA. But for children.
But for
it's essentially
children.
like, it is like you are robbing banks and doing
all
that
it's just
stuff.
GTA. It's literally just GTA.
Pretty much, but then because it's under the guise of you being an undercover cop.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So you're not actually doing this for real.
But
you can just like, just do criminal things.
Every time you steal a car, Chase says, well, I'm a cop, I've got to do this. He like literally says like an audio line. Yeah, it's so good. I love that game, man.
And the map is really cool as well. And they because it was on the Wii U, obviously it's not very powerful. They got around it really well.
Yeah.
Because the map's sort of like a big circle. Or I remember, like, it wasn't like a big sprawling map. It was kind of linear.
It was linear, but I think it was about the size of...
It was like a bunch of paths.
Yeah, it was about the size of Vice City.
And they were very wide paths.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, very so similar to that.
It was a very clever way to make a really expansive open world.
And
it was big.
They made a 3DS version of the game, which wasn't as good.
Well, that was like a prequel or a sequel.
It was a prequel. It was really, really good. Sorry, it wasn't. It wasn't as good as the original, but I thought it was okay.
I was tempted to buy that.
You can tell it's like a cheap handheld remake. You can borrow my copy.
I remember the yay. I remember the render distance was short, and that's what everyone didn't like.
Not ideal. Yeah. But it desperately needs like another remake or a sequel or something, because man,
like a package deal.
Yeah.
You get both of them.
Great game, and slept on. No one talks about it. It's like that's the game. Anyway. Yeah,
and I love also. It's like the only Lego game of this style. With your sort of, those Lego games with the mini kits and the level just whatnot. It's the only one that's not based on an IP. Like you have your Star Wars, your Harry
original.
Potter. It's all just Lego City, and
it's
I
the
think
lore.
that's the coolest thing ever.
Lore is the story is great, and I love all the different film and TV references they have in the
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's like,
I might play it after this.
Please, it's so good. I implore everyone that's watching to seek out this game. It's on Steam. It's on PS Plus. It's on. I think it's on Game Pass. Maybe not. It's on Xbox. Just seek it out.
Might be.
It's and it's a meaty game too. It's like 15 to 20 hours.
Meaty game.
It's like it's got a lot of runtime on it, and give it a play.
It's $9 right now on Steam. The sale,
mate.
The sale's on the autumn sale.
Scoop it up. It's
Scoop
so
that
good.
boy up.
Yeah, and there's like a character creator as well, so you can create characters. It's so good, man. So good.
Wow.
Anyway.
I didn't know you could do that. I missed that playthrough.
You have to go down into the police station. Anyway, we're getting to this isn't a Lego City Undercover review.
Shut up.
Yeah. Get on with it. Next question.
Let's move on.
Because now we're gonna start. Well, I mean, this whole episode has been us being like, the past was good and now it's shit. But like, this is the sort of extension of that. how do you think the games industry has changed from when you first began playing games to now? So we can talk about business practices, the types of games that are releasing, like how they're being marketed. Give us your insight.
Yeah. Well, we've mentioned E3 before.
Yeah.
Which is gone. It is dead. It has been dead for
they
like 4 years.
They could bring it back. I have hope one day someone will bring it back.
They made that announcement last year that it won't be. But that has changed everything, I think. And has really affected my enjoyment of of video games as well.
Yeah.
Because like back in the day, it's not that long ago, but like a few years ago when E3 was around, you'd have this sort of Christmas for video games. Every company would participate. They'd all have their shows, even if they weren't there. Nintendo, for example, they stopped doing the shows.
Mate, after the Wii Music fiasco,
and the Skyward Sword.
Oh my god,
stuff.
Awful moment.
But like even then, they still had demos on the floor.
Yeah,
they just went on stage and they had their directs. Like, and then you would always have these like this June, July release window for games, and then sort of maybe a break until August. You'd have another game, and then October would be sort of your big releases. And like every year, like there was this pattern, and it was really nice. Especially because you had gaps between major AAA releases.
Yeah. People
would talk about them, play them for like that month or two, and everyone would be playing sort of the same games. Whereas these days, you don't really have that
segmented.
central.
It's so segmented these days.
You don't have
I feel like
that E3
all
anymore.
Sorts of different camps, and everyone's doing their own press conferences. And like
for
a lot of the companies,
random times.
At random times. For a lot of the companies like Sony's State of Play, like a lot of that stuff, like you don't need a video format for that. You want to announce that stuff on the floor, you know? And like I feel like they aren't taking as many chances with that type of thing, and just seems more bland now that Nintendo's done it. Now everyone's sort of jumping on the video announcement bandwagon, you know?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's so much harder to like find people that are playing the same things as you. People are playing so many different things, which is cool. Like there's a huge variety, but I miss those big. There hasn't been a big event game unless you're in like the Nintendo sphere. Obviously, like Zelda and like Tears of the Kingdom, I thought was a big event for people into Nintendo games. But
the impact wasn't the same as Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild
exactly.
Sorry. Hello.
Hello. We have a guest.
Back. It's Tom Holland.
To say hi. It's Tom Holland. Hello. I'm alive. I didn't die.
It's a
he wanted to talk about his favorite game, Snake Pass, but
Nintendogs.
Arnold, you'll have to talk about that later. Don't tell him about Nintendogs. My Nintendogs all died because I neglected them for 10 years.
Jeez.
What was I saying? But like the like I miss when everyone, even like Destiny 2. Do you remember when I remember when Destiny 2 came out? Everyone sort of just played it, and like at the same time, it was just because it was on online game as well, and like Fortnite.
Thing.
Like when Fortnite was sort of first becoming big, just these big events don't really happen anymore. Like Halo Infinite, that should have been huge,
but it just wasn't compared to something like Halo 3 or Halo 4.
Yeah, exactly.
The announcements of those games were like earth-shattering, you know.
Pretty much, and that's also like leads into another thing, is the way that sort of companies are treating games, like releasing them unfinished. This happens with Halo, Call of Duty, bunch of games where they sort of finish development after the fact.
They say it's gone gold, but there's still like a million different bugs and it's unfinished, so that's and there's no annoying campaign.
Yeah, and like video games have always been franchise based. Like this isn't like movies. Recently they are recycling a lot of old ideas and a lot of franchises. Video games has always been like this, but recently the companies they've got a sorry, go away. He wants to chat.
He wants to join the podcast. He's not allowed.
But what was I saying? I don't know.
It's just gone a bit lazy. Another thing that I sort of wanted to bring up is there's more of an emphasis on legacy content instead of creating new games. So if you just look at on the shelves, you know, you got like Disney Classics collection, you've got like your Sega Sonic collection, you know, you've got all of them. It's like all of your old games. You got Last of Us remastered, you got Spider-Man remastered, you know. And it's just like
annoying money-making tactics that they're using.
And it's just like, this
to
doesn't...
get every drop out of
It
you.
doesn't make up for making new games, you know? Like,
I know, yeah.
Like, I can't imagine what the next console cycle is going to be, because we haven't had that many amazing AAA titles that haven't been re-released.
This generation.
Yeah, right? So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing, man? Just like...
What are we doing?
Just gotta change our ways, man. Talking to all the game studios.
But yeah, that's like another thing how like the industry's changed as well is that games take a lot longer to make now than they did back in the day. So you'd get like a Call of Duty every year or a Halo every year or a new Mario game would be like 2 or 3 years away. Now there's like 5-10 years in between. Like look at GTA 6, obviously. Oh, like Grand Theft Auto is always one every couple years in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And now it's been 11 years. So like that, I wish developers made games that didn't look so good, honestly.
Yeah.
Like if they're nailing the gameplay,
that's
I don't
all that
care about the
matters.
visuals.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the entire gaming community. Maybe this tactic won't work. It probably won't. I think a lot of people do love. I love to be immersed and have
but I
realistic
mean,
visuals.
the graphics
but I
were
don't
good
care.
enough. Like in 2013, if you look at GTA 5,
That's like the extent. I reckon. Yeah.
that's a perfect looking game, and that only
Yeah.
had about 2 or 3 or 4 years of development time because they were
Exactly.
working on the GTA 4 DLC. So it's like I think they started
Yeah.
development in 2010 or something, and
It's
then it
crazy,
came out in
and it's
2013. You know?
Insane to this day.
Yeah. So
And like,
if we
yeah,
go
you
back to
mentioned
that,
The
that'd be
Last of
great.
Us.
Yeah.
That's a game that looked really good when it came out, and they've released it like 3 times. It's
Yeah.
like, you don't need to spend
just-
that time making a new game,
Yeah.
please.
New IPs, new
just-
games. That's what we want.
You don't need to add, new textures to a game that looks
Yeah.
fine. Thank
Yeah.
you.
We're just
But
old
if
men.
anyone can spend 10 years on a video game, Rockstar will allow them because they're literally pushing.
That being said, if
the boundary.
GTA 6 sucks, that'll be the end of it. I think.
But like
just be a major
visually,
change.
it's gonna be. We've already seen it in the trailer. It's insane how good that game looks. So I'm glad at least one company is like doing all this. Every single company doesn't need to do what Rockstar are doing and like make the greatest game or trying to make the greatest game ever made.
Yeah.
That's just, it's a little frustrating. And you would think that like over time the technology would get better and these games would be quicker to make. But it's actually the opposite. I guess like now the technology is getting better, therefore it takes longer to sort of render these things and design everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I don't
just,
know,
that's a frustration that you can't really help, but that's changed a lot.
Well, yeah. I just think it's a different era, and like I guess maybe age plays a factor in saying, oh yeah, things were better. Maybe like we were just younger. I don't know. But like, yeah. I guess on that, my second to last question is just, what is one moment in gaming history, and it can only be one moment, that you remember from your childhood that would never happen or fly in today's industry? So it can be like a release of a game or like a promotional thing. Do you want me to start? I can start.
Yeah, you start. Yeah, go ahead.
The one thing that springs to mind, there are a bunch of things, like, because it's different era completely, but in 2014, when Mario Kart 8 came out, we've been talking a lot about Mario Kart 8, but I remember they gave out a free Wii U game with every single copy of Mario Kart 8 purchased before, like, I think it was like the end of the year or the end of August or something like that. Like, they would offer like Mario
That's crazy.
Bros U, they would offer Wind Waker, they would offer Pikmin 3, and they could offer Wii Party U. You could pick from those 4 games when you bought this new game. And I think that was done to rejuvenate sales of the Wii U. Like they wanted just people to buy their console.
And
but,
like Nintendo Selects as well. That's something they haven't done for Switch yet.
No.
They'd lower the price to like $30 Australian.
And oh my lord, with the Switch games, they need it. All those
Yeah.
like back in the Wii era, it felt like Nintendo cared more about the consumer, if that makes any sense. I mean, they're obviously releasing great games now, and the Switch is majorly popular, so they don't need to do these like tactics anymore. But it felt like they were up against the wall, and they wanted you to invest in their console. You know, like
I think they were also a little desperate as well.
Yeah,
and
but
that's
I
probably
think
why
like,
it
that's
looks
part
like
of it. But like,
really
man,
pro-consumer.
what an era! A free game with Mario Kart 8.
That's crazy.
Like a full.
I saw
AAA
recently
game.
Yeah, they've recently started discounting their first party games, which they've never done really in history.
So that's interesting.
Other than giving these games out for free. But on the eShop, I think there's some sales on at the moment. So they might be going back to their good roots. But yeah, that is unheard of. That right there.
That was a great era. I love that. That was just, man. What happened? Anyway, I'm having war flashbacks. I'm like, oh, damn. Oliver, what's one moment in gaming history that you remember that will never ever happen again?
Yeah, well, you mentioned Mario Kart 8, and you reminded me something that Nintendo released that no other company would do at the time, I think, but it definitely wouldn't do now.
The Wii Vitality sensor.
That's what I was going to talk about. Could you use that in Mario Kart 8? I don't know.
Yeah, sense your
it
heartbeat.
kills you when you crash. But like the Mario Kart 8 DLC.
Oh,
it is my favorite DLC of all time. It is $11. $11, and you get, what did you get? You got 16 brand new tracks, right? That's half of the game again.
Yeah.
On top of Mario Kart 8, which was like $60, $70.
Yeah, I think it was like 60.
Retailing for.
Yeah.
Like, you get half the game again.
Cheaper. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Plus, these 16 tracks are like the greatest in the game.
Yeah.
Like the amount of detail
Mute
they had.
City, Hyrule Field, man.
Mute City, Big Blue. It was Excite Bike
stage. Yeah.
They I remember when that DLC came out, we would only play those tracks for the next few years because they were the best.
And on top of that,
and not only that, you got 16 tracks, you got 6 new characters altogether.
The characters, man.
You got, this is when it became like Smash Kart. You got Link, the villager from Animal Crossing.
Bro, when
Isabelle.
Link was announced as the DLC, my brain exploded. I was like,
what?
Infiltration of the mainstream. What? You know?
And I remember all the theories about what the Hyrule track would be, and people were saying like Skyloft and whatnot. But that track's awesome as well because there's attention to detail in these ones where you hit each thing and you get the little Zelda jingle and you solve the puzzle. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And the Big Blue tracks had like the greatest soundtrack in the world with the Mario Kart band.
I remember
F-Zero.
Yeah.
No Captain Falcon. Everyone was like, Captain Falcon's coming surely. A little secret update. Even in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, he never showed up. It's so sad.
Mario Kart 9's got to make it happen. Just do a Smash Kart for God's sake, you know?
Yeah.
And then also they had like, what else did they have? They had 200cc.
That's right. That was free as well. Yeah. So they gave 200cc out for free with
and no
the
one
update.
Could play it. They were like, it's too fast.
Me and my brother, we would we got really good at it over time. We can't go back now. But and then they gave out I think 6 or 8 new karts, including like a Zelda motorbike.
The Mercedes cars.
The Mercedes? Oh, that was before actually. That was its own little Mercedes update. But even then, that was unusual. As well.
Nintendo
and
behavior.
Then there was a pre-order bonus with the DLC where if you pre-ordered both packs or if you bought both packs, not just one because there were 2 packs, you would get free, or just as an added bonus, you could change the color of your Shy Guys and your Yoshis.
Oh, I remember that.
You could pick the different colors just as a little bonus. And this is the greatest deal ever. Like $11 for all this content.
So good. So good.
The greatest content. Yeah. It's my favorite DLC ever made. Mainly because of the price.
The Smash 4 DLC comes close, but the Mario Kart DLC was
but even then, that was like $2 per me skin as well.
That was
this was $11 for all of it. Yeah. And I just thought that was such a great deal.
Yeah.
And it's obvious that this will never happen again because Mario Kart 8 did get more DLC.
The booster course.
And it was kind of average.
It was middling.
It's cool getting more content, but it was not the best content I've seen.
I think they redeemed themselves in the end with the new characters and stuff, but
the new characters was a surprise, and then the tracks did start to get better. Yeah. But this first one set the bar just for every game I ever played going on.
So good, man.
Yeah, I'm still I would pay $40 honestly for that DLC for $11.
It was hype too. It was so hype. I remember DLC Pack 1 came out and everyone was anticipating what the second DLC pack would be.
Yeah. The theories as well. Especially because they were mixing the retro tracks with the new tracks, so you had no idea what would be in it.
Right.
And I remember the image they released of all the tracks, and they didn't have any, like, it was an image cut up into smaller images with the future tracks in them. And like, I remember Wild Woods, it was just a picture of like a tree, and it was so pixelated, and everyone was like, what is that? What is that track in the woods? Is that the Zelda one? Yeah. Like the amount of theories that were going off. And that's when we found out about Excitebike as well, because it's like Excitebike's like an obvious, you can tell when you're looking at Excitebike, and that people going nuts about that little image. That was, missed those days, but yeah, that was a good moment.
Old Nintendo era. Oliver, I only have one more question. I think we've had a long ride. We've had a lot of good reminiscing. Can you think of any more fond gaming memories from your childhood before we end off today?
For my childhood. We'll list them off.
Do you do one? I'll do one. We'll do like three.
Well, I remember the first game I ever finished took me by surprise. It was Halo Reach. Because again, like I said at the very start of this episode, I could only play games for 2 hours at a time. And so I was just chipping away at Halo Reach over like a month or two. And I remember because I was like 10, I wasn't really comprehending the story or anything. I was just shooting aliens. And then the credits started rolling. I was like, what? What do I do now? I was like, that was the first game I ever finished.
I feel aimless.
I need to find a new game. Yeah.
Halo 4.
Because I'd only played like multiplayer. I've been playing like Mario Karts and Smash. Like I never really played a story-driven game before.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, now what? This isn't fun. But yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a funny memory.
Oh,
yeah.
Man,
what about you?
Halo. Sort of a similar story. So back in the day when I was in primary school, I would be in before school care a lot, which is sort of like the system in place where you like drop your child off before school.
I remember that, yeah.
And you
just leave them there.
You just leave them there. It was
just
sort
on
of
the side of the road.
Yeah. Basically, make them homeless.
Good old days.
Yeah,
you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, true. God. It's true. Bloody in this bloody day and age, you know what I'm saying, in this economy. But they had a Wii and a PS2 at the before school care place. And they had Donkey Kong Country Returns and they had Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I think they were the only two games that they had at the thing. And so I was there pretty regularly. So I would make it, me and my brother would make it our mission to beat Donkey Kong Country Returns at before school care every day.
Yeah, awesome.
We would be like, we'll go through every single level. And obviously, because it was 2-player, right? You know, Mario and Diddy. Sorry, Donkey Kong and Diddy, my bad. We'd do that, and we would just completely hog this poor Wii console from all the other kids and just play the game and just beat the game. So I apologize to all the other children who are deprived of their Donkey Kong Country.
I'm sure they haven't let that down. I'm sure they're still writhing about it.
They're hunting me down. They're hunting me down for that, you know. But we'd all play Smash Bros. Brawl together, and it would be like, great experiences.
Bliss.
What's another gaming fond memory you've got?
I don't know. I remember after school care they had Simpsons Hit and Run, but I never got to play it. You just reminded me because like everyone would be crowded around it. This was a PS2.
Yeah.
And I never got to touch it.
Damn.
But yeah, like my other memory would be like buying the Switch for the first time, which I talked about. Yeah. That's a huge memory. Just playing Breath of the Wild for the first time.
What about getting the Wii U for the first time? What was that like?
Oh yeah. Actually, I remember that because we were playing Mario Kart Wii leading up to it. And we obviously between us none of us really had a job like we were working. We were
just young children.
Out of our brothers, And then so we had a ton of Wii games. We maybe had like 30 Wii games.
Jeez, mate, generally you were talking the town.
So many like just shovelware and crap. We had Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares.
Great game.
Unopened, sealed. We never played it. No. Well, so what we did, we got basically all the Wii games we didn't want. We kept all the like first-party Nintendos and whatnot, and a bunch of 360 games, and we took them to our local EB games along with. I think we took our 360 with us. We had two 360s, so we took our original, not the Slim. We took our original, and we traded it in for cash, and you got like. We probably traded in like 20 games all up. Jeez. And a console we probably just got like under $100 or something. It was terrible, but like we were like, oh money, hey, we can afford the new game. And like Gordon Ramsay sealed in the box sold for $2 like unopened. And it wasn't our most best-selling one.
It's the highest selling.
I would never do
that.
I would never do that today.
Keep it for the name.
And then I remember we basically pulled together our money, purchased a Wii U, and like what I remember the most is when you got a Wii U and you were transferring your save data from the Wii to the Wii U. All the Pikmin would be carrying your SD cards and whatnot, and that's something the Switch didn't really have.
Again, contributing to the soulless Nintendo theory.
Yeah. Wow, soulless.
Where's the Pikmin? You know, I remember my Wii U.
That was a big
first
memory.
Wii day as well. I got it for Christmas. But another memory I had was playing games on Vizd.com. This is way back in like 2010, right? This is before like I was really into like, you know, console gaming. I was getting into Sonic, I was getting into like Mario games, and so Viz.com was a browser emulator where you could play old NES and Super Nintendo games on your browser. They ran in like 5 frames per second. They were the most awful emulator.
Viz.com.
Viz.com. I think it's still active. I looked last night and it's still online, so you can still play old games. And so that's how I first played Mario Bros. 1 for the first time. Viz.com.
Wow.
With
was
a mouse
it
and keyboard. Yeah.
For first Mario Bros? Or was it like a rip-off?
Oh, it was the first Mario Bros. It was like
oh wow, okay.
So that's a memory for me. Yeah. My final I'll let you do your 2 final stories, because I've got one more story and it has nothing to do with Nintendo, funnily enough. This is my final fond memory. I remember for Christmas one year, my uncle, bless him, he's an amazing guy. He was just like, oh, I didn't get you guys anything, but I've got an old PlayStation 1, so here you go. And he just gave me and my brother, like, a PlayStation 1.
It's like what happened with our GameCube. Yeah, that's awesome.
He's like, it's just bloody, just take it, mate. And so we played like the original, the first Need for Speed, and I think Grand Theft Auto 1. But we didn't have it for very long because my dad was like, you can't take my brother's PlayStation, we're giving it back. And that was it. It was a whole thing. It was, and it went back and forth. Like he would give it back to us, and then we would return it back to him. It happened like 2 or 3 times, and we ended up giving it back to him.
Yeah, that's funny as.
Oh man.
You reminded me of the playing Flash games. Like back, I remember at school, like Cool Maths games and whatnot.
Cool
like
Math
going
games,
into the computer
iconic.
room. Cool Maths games. But like I would always go to the Lego website. And I remember they used to have a bunch of games on there, like platformers and stuff. And I specifically remember this 2D platformer based on the Toy Story 3 movie. There's a bunch of Toy Story 3 games, but this one, I've tried to track it down ever since. I generally think it was really good, but it's probably terrible. It is generally lost media. If someone could find that would be awesome.
Tell us about the game. What was the game? What was it?
Well, was this like just a 2D platformer where you play as just Buzz, Woody, and Jesse? Each character had a different like ability. I think Jesse could swing on stuff. Buzz could maybe fly a little bit. You'd collect little Lego bricks, I remember, as collectibles. And just play through various Toy Story locations.
I remember that.
Yeah, just those little Lego games or Flash games I'd be playing like after school.
So influential, you know.
That was fun.
And they're a good way to get some malware, you know. Cheeky bit of
on your device.
Yeah, legit. I
trust Lego. I trust Lego.com though.
Yeah, they're one of the good ones.
Oliver, one of the good ones.
What is your final fond gaming memory? That you can only choose one more.
That's it. Honestly, that's all my. I think.
You're
trying to think of another
out?
one. I've got like a ton of memories of like playing with friends, like Smash and stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing like specific. I just remember like sitting on like 3 beanbags and a couch with like 4 people just playing Smash
playing
Melee
Mario Kart, playing Smash Bros. I mean, that's
Mario Kart,
that's Nintendo games. They bring people together, and Halo as well. You're a Halo man, you know.
And Mario Party 5 actually. That was I loved playing Mario Party 5.
Go to.
But
That's games are cool, aren't they, Oliver? Games are lovely.
Nah,
we should go into music. We'll write an album.
Yeah. Next week we'll be talking about Sabrina Carpenter. That's 2 hours.
Sabrina Carpenter game. That's what
Video games by Lana Del Rey.
Oh, done. I'm ready for that.
Done and dusted.
Look, I've had so much fun here, Oliver. I've
had a great time.
Just reminiscing about how things used to be better and how these days it's shit.
Much.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's it. Am I signing us off this week? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, go ahead. Sign us off. Look, do you know what you're doing?
So, mate, I'll bloody wing it. That's all I've been doing this entire episode. But thank you so much for watching, everyone, this little discussion. Mate, give us your gaming memories in the comments below. Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, list them down below. We'd love to read them. Oliver, where can we find you at, and what are we watching here?
You can find me here on the channel at Peanut Games Media. We've got a bunch of socials. We're on Instagram and TikTok and Threads and X. So I think that's all of them.
The whole
We're not on
shebang.
Facebook, but you can track us down on all of those platforms.
That's it.
I am on Twitter at OllieDuncan_. But yeah, subscribe to Peanut Games Media. We've done a lot of videos with Matt talking about the news of the week and various other topics.
Yeah.
The Game Awards are coming up as well, so we'll probably be talking about those.
Mate, we got a bunch planned, a bunch of cool stuff. And yeah, you can find me at matt.rob on Instagram and on Blue Sky at mattrobertson85. So yes, we sincerely hope you have enjoyed this episode of us reminiscing on our old gaming memories. And yeah, thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you. Squid jump scare. Oh no! We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.